Greetings people, it's Jared here, Wolfgang 1 back for another Transformers review. Now following on from last week's Generations review, sort of stuff that I class as technically slightly newer stuff, even though that's like a decade old, I'm going all the way back in time, ladies and gentlemen, to the 80s, the late 80s, with another Pretender review, because you know me and my relationship with Pretenders. It's a bit like Stockholm Syndrome, really. I'm taking a look today at one that is exceptionally shit, but not quite so shit on the outside. Judge for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This is the review for Generation 1 Bugly. Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Stretch Your Imagination to its absolute fucking limits. This is Bugly in his most basic alt mode, okay? Let me just bring this up just a little bit, because that makes all the fucking difference, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, once you've attached the parts to him, apparently Bugly transforms into a hoverjet, alright, mate? Whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. As in, whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. This looks more like a fucking industrial wet and dry vac, really. This looks like the sort of thing that cleaners drag around hospital wards to clean the floor, right? That's what it looks like. Let me show you some of the things that fucking Bugly here came with, okay? So he comes with let me stand that up, two halves of a Pretender shell. There's the one half, there's the back half of it, okay? Yeah, I'll come on to that in a minute. It's basically his outer shell is a fly, is a large fly. And let me tell you, right, as horrific as the Pretender shell is, I mean, the Pretender shell looks fucking great, really, even with the paint missing and that. But he turns into a giant fly, right? But David Cronenberg himself couldn't have come up with anything as horrific as a Pretender, right? That's the fact of the matter, right? So he comes with two halves of the shell. Fucking, I wish I'd stopped knocking this fucking light. Right, he comes with two. Let's bring this in a little bit. He comes with two of these left and right guns attached to his Pretender shell, and also his alt mode, because apparently these are the thing that make or break the alt mode, right, for whatever that's worth. He comes with one belt to attach to the Pretender shell, to clip it all together, okay, just like that. He comes with two of these, like sort of, not antlers, sort of mandible sort of things, if you will, sort of things that plug into the back of his head. Now, I don't think they're supposed to have this strange brown spotting thing on them. I think that's just degradation in the weird sort of rubbery plastic that they used for this. But the brown spotting does kind of give it a little bit of extra detail, weirdly enough, which is nice. So yay for the mould. And then he comes with this. Now, it's supposed to be fly wings that plug onto the back of the Pretender shell. It's an absolutely incidental throwaway little thing. Again, you can see the mottling and the degradation in the plastic there where the brown spotting is. But again, really, really does kind of add to it. So I can't really complain with that. What I can complain with, however, fucking hell, this fucking camera. What I can complain with, right, and believe me, I'm gonna, is this fucking thing, right? This is Bugly, right? Say hello, Bugly, you fucking rancid piece of shit. And despite my misgivings and my feelings about Pretenders, I just want to give a massive shout out to Exaggerated Energy, who actually gave me this. He gave me this as a birthday present back in 2010, 2011, something like that. It might have been 2011 actually, because I didn't attend Auto Assembly that year, but we did have a party around mine, and he came all the way from the Midlands for it. So I do believe that, yeah, this was 2011 I got this, and he bought it at Auto Assembly, I believe, the year before or the year before that, or whatever the case may be, and it cost him, I think, about £50. So yeah, so we're going to plug on the these, right? We're going to plug on these guns, and ladies and gentlemen, that, once I get the fucking camera focused, that right there is Bugly in his hoverjet mode. And what a hoverjet it is, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't look in any way like a fucking, you know, floor cleaner, whatever the fuck it is. There's little to no, I mean, this is one of the worst alt modes for me. I mean, so what, you've given the fucking top bit fins, right? But really, because of the way this is designed, this hover mode hoverjet thing, whatever the fuck this is supposed to be, doesn't particularly sit together in the way that you think it should do. Mostly because of the way these arms are molded just here. These won't clip back any further than that, even though you think they should go flush. They don't go back any further than that. As a result, these things don't go flush out, and as a result, these things don't sit perfectly underneath. So as a result, it's the way it's all been molded and the way it's been designed. It's not really anything. Look, I mean, can you see that? See that right there, right? The way those arm sections sit at an awkward angle, you'd think they'd sit perfectly flush into this, but no, they don't. So this is Bugley in his hoverjet mode. I can say it as many times as I fucking want. It still doesn't make it what it is, quite frankly. It's got a nice little hole in the back just here. I mean, you can put one of his guns in there if you want. I mean, that looks fucking like the biggest load of wank I've seen in a long time. So he hasn't got an accessory especially dedicated to that hole. So that hole there is, I think, a molding design or something from another Pretender that's just been left there as an afterthought. It's fucking shit, is what. That's exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I can't make this out to be anything other than what it is, right? Which is a massive piece of shit. I like this, however, and the reason I like this is because George gave it to me. If I'd have spent 50 quid on this, I'd have been a bit annoyed. Most of my Pretenders I've managed to get for about 20, which is or 25, which is awesome. The majority of them, anyway. But the only reason I like this as much as I do is because George gave it to me. Regardless of that. And, you know, the Pretender shell is a decent design. But this here, this is supposed to be the central primary gimmick, the part that you're supposed to come back for in fucking droves. This hoverjet, right? This is fucking shit. It really, really is absolutely dreadful. So I'm gonna take this to its edge of your seat, jaw dropping transformation, right? Okay, so we're going to pull these things off just here, right? Fold in these little fins. I've dropped something on the floor. Great. There we are. Have that. Then we're going to stretch them out like this, right? Unextend the knee a little bit, like, because the knees hyperextend a little bit. We're going to then bring up these grey tabs for the feet. Okay, we're going to pull these back sections out like that. We're then going to fucking... There we are. Stand the fucking thing up. Bring these sections down for the arms, right? And ladies and gentlemen, that right there, wait for it. That's Bugley. That's Bugley in his dubious fucking robot mode, right? And because of these sections just here, these are where the gun's plugged in on the alt mode, right? He has tits, right? As a result of that stupid little throwaway bit of transformation and gimmickry, he's got a pair of knockers. Now you can get him to hold his guns in his arms, in his hands if you want, just like that. And this is Bugley here, ready to do whatever the fuck it is Bugley does. I can only imagine stand there and look like a fucking gimp, right? The head doesn't even turn. That's all molded into this section just here. Just a splotch of yellow paint for the face, like no picking out the eyes or anything like that. I might have to do that with a pair of stickers. Or at least I would do if I cared that much about it. But Bugley is such a steaming pile of shit. It's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think it's not going to happen. So that's. I mean, the arms go around full 360, and the arms and the legs do a bit of this, right? But this is it. This here, right? This is Bugley, and he's not worth fucking anything, really. So we're going to take him to his final form, ladies and gentlemen. And for this, we're going to need some Pretender shellage. Okay? So, bring that up a little bit more. There we are. Right, so Pretender shell, just like this. So let's start by taking Bugley, folding down his feet, and then pushing his arms back behind his, back. Just like that. Again. Very stiff. And put him in his bug-shaped outfit. Now, weirdly enough, Bugley fits his Pretender shell a lot better than a lot of the Pretenders do. Okay, so that's something I will say is going for it. Close this rancid little fucker up, right, into the shell, and then start putting all the details on the shell. So let's start with the belt. Not that this really needs a belt, but whatever, it's got a belt. Plug the wings into the back, just like this. Like that. Then add these strange things into the ports in the back of the head, just there. If you can see, just there and there. One in there. One in the other side. Okay. And then give Bugley the weapons. Now, the problem with the weapons is because of the way the arms are designed, these don't sit very well in the hands, right? There's a bit of a clearance issue just there. He holds that one okay. This one has to go in this small port just here. Right, there we are. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is Bugley in his complete Pretender form. Now, this shell, right? This shell is fucking awesome. You've got the nylon green. You've got the luminescent green. You've got the darker green for the knees and the abs and everything like that. And all these are painted on. Other than that, it's just black, sort of black plastic. All this is paint. And you know, if this was an Autobot Pretender, it would be like a nondescript sort of human, I would say. But obviously the Decepticon ones had a little bit of imagination put in them. Bugley was one of the ones that wasn't released in the UK. So we had, I keep saying it, we had Bombburst, Skullgrin and Submarauder, Finback, Bugley here, and whoever the other cunt was. Can't quite tell. Iguanas. They weren't released in this country. So but regardless of that, he's a funky little Pretender shell. I like the Pretender shell a lot. Sadly, and this is the case with all the Pretenders, whether or not they be Autobot or Decepticon, regardless of how cool the shell is or isn't, it doesn't detract from the fact that what you've got hiding inside it is a fucking rancid little thing. A piece of crap, right? That can almost completely redefine the term crap, right? That's how crap it is, right? But that's Bugley, and this is the way I display Bugley, with the rancid little fucker on the inside, hidden, because if you want to be a Pretender, you might as well just fucking stay hidden. Especially if you're going to look that crap in without your Pretender shell. This guy, on the other hand, the Pretender shell is pretty cool. That I will not. I mean, it's even got the tiny little details like the fly wings on the back. I mean, if you're looking at it from this point on, you don't see it. You don't see a tiny little incidental detail like that, but it's still cool. And I've got to say, the mottled brown spots of like sort of the mold in the degradation of this particular type of rubber plastic that was used, I think actually kind of adds to the aesthetic overall. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there he is. That is Bugley. Yeah, make of that what you will. I'll be back next week, ladies and gentlemen, with another review. Maybe something that's not quite as shit as this, although that remains to be seen. It feels like what I fancy digging out of my collection. Until we see each other, thank you for watching this, and take care. And when tomorrow comes, I feel you laying by me, like you ain't got nowhere else to go.